Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to do the topic the feminist movement in USA, the Equal Pay Act of 1963. And these are the topics which we will do today. First of all, according to syllabus, from second wave they have given you. But as an introduction part, you should understand that what was the beginning of this wave of movement of feminist. The feminist movement, also known as the women's movement, as is given in your book. Okay, so women's liberation or women's refers to a series of campaigns for reform such as domestic violence, the maternity leave, equal pay acts, and the various forms. The feminist movements in the United States of Canada and certain countries in Western Europe has gone through three waves. The first wave of feminists involved the suffrage, political equality, and second wave, that is it from your syllabus, it has attempted to combat social and cultural inequalities. Third wave feminine includes renewed campaign for women's greater influence in politics. Writer Virginia Woolf was associated with the ideas of the first wave of the feminism. In her book, A Room of One's Own, described how men socially and physically dominated women. The first convention was held in New York in city 1837 to discuss on women's party platform on the women's rights, a liberty platform, performed for the people's rights. So in New York in August 1848, there was a set of 12 resolution which was adopted calling for the equal treatment of women and men. You can underline it. Stanton led the demand for voting rights of women. In United States, the first wave of feminism ended with the passage of 19th Amendment Act to the United States Constitution in 1920. I am reading the lines of your book, which is very important from this part. It is very important to read these lines, as the second wave, very briefly it is explained, but it is very important, the points. The second wave of feminist activities began in early 1960s and lasted through the late 1980s. Betty Friedan, born on February 4th, was an American writer, activist, and feminist. She was a leading figure in the women's movement in the United States. Her book, The Feminine Mystic, sparked of the second wave of American feminism in the 20th century. In 1966, Friedman co-founded and was elected the first president of National Organization for Women, or NOW. The aim of this organization was to bring women into mainstream of American society in fully equal partnership with men. On August 26, 1970, Friedan organized the nationwide women's strike for equality to establish women's political rights, and she was also a strong supporter. So, the Constitution, regarded as influential author and intellectual in the United States, Friedan remained active for women's equal rights. She died in February 2005 at the age of 85. During this time, feminists started campaign against the cultural and political inequalities. Another important movement, the women's health movement, emerged in 1960s and 70s, in which multiple groups were involved. The movement exposed how the United States healthcare system was falling. Male control over the system was questioned, which led to the women enrolling in medical schools, midwives becoming licensed, and women becoming more involved. Thus came the era of Equal Employment Opportunities Act of 1972, that is EEA. What were the different measures taken by the government? During the Second World War, a large number of female workers took jobs in different factories, but the employers paid them low salaries than the male workers. Various feminist groups protested against the gender discrimination. Finally, the American president J.F. Kennedy decided to abolish the gender discrimination in 1963, and the US Congress passed the Equal Pay Act to prohibit discrimination on account of the sex in the payment of the wages. by the employers. The Congress passed Equal Pay Act of 1963 out of the concern of the weaker bargaining. That means the Equal Pay Act, the men and women at work should be given the equal salaries. Next is the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The act was signed into the laws by President Lyndon B. Johnson on July 2nd, 1964. This act is a landmark piece of legislation in the United States. It outlawed all the discrimination various fields which women were facing and ended unequal application of voter registration requirements and racial segregation in schools, at workplace and facilities that were served to the general public. So a role for national organization for women. Now, this is also there in your syllabus, but we'll discuss in detail over this topic in the next class. Okay, a wide discussion should be there in this topic. This is also important topic for your writing notes and answers. So in the next class we will discuss. Till this much, this chapter is very short according to reduced syllabus. So till this topic we will study and read the pages which are done today carefully and answer the short questions from your exercises. And if any doubt, you can ask also.